Hello, 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 everybody watching. Let me see if our guest is in. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. Good evening, happy Wednesday, and welcome to the official episode 2 of Beyond Close. Today's special guest is Joelle. Now, this episode, for those of you that are watching, we do have a couple of viewers. So, hello everybody. This episode is for the culture. For those of you that see, we have two Puerto
Um,
Rican Leos, one
hello.
interviewing the next. This is about to get really real. So,
Yes.
Joelle, the floor is yours. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Hola, soy yo, Chiquito Joelito aquí. But yes, my name is Joel. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. I am 25, turned 26 this August. You already know what's up. Leo gang, Leo gang. And I'm just like I just do modeling. I'm a stylist. I want to get into my creative direction bag a little bit more. Um, but I'm kind of in between those things, and also I just work for like I just kind of do like stalking. That's what I do on the side for work. So, but yeah, it's a might be life sometimes, but it's been a really great journey. So, I'm just excited for the future and to see what's going on.
It wouldn't let me unmute myself for a second there, but um, tell us a little bit more about your modeling endeavors. So tell the people a little bit about some of the photo shoots you do, your mother agency as well, just so they can get to know Joelle, the model.
So, I've been modeling for I want to say I started right by 2021. I want to say 2021, 2022. So it just kind of my sister. I do have two siblings, older siblings. I'm the baby. So my middle sister, she was always when she was younger, like into modeling and being a fashion designer and stuff. So I kind of got into that because of her. So she's like a really big inspiration, I would say. So I just kind of I started with Columbia Fashion Week here, a very great group. So I had a member hit me up just one time, just say, hey, you should try out for the top model competition. And so I went ahead and I was just like, you know what? Like, let me just go ahead. I went on the limb. And so it was ever since then, like it's just been great. It's really great networking with a lot of different models that's around here, a lot of the designers. Sometimes it almost feels like you get new family when it comes to the modeling industry. So that's really, really fun. And so um off of that, I just started doing some more smaller shows around Charlotte, or obviously Columbia, Charleston, Atlanta and I'm trying to think of when I did a competition sometime, I think with Columbia Fashion Week. And so my mother agency, Diabru Agency, shout out to them.
Yeah.
They one of their mentors basically, she's one of the models as well. Well actually she's one of the coaches. So she ended up getting me a scholarship with them. So, I ended up after one
Shout
of the
out to her.
competitions. Yeah, shout out to her. So I got a scholarship with the agency, and so I've done Dallas Expo with them. We do small like extravaganza shows that are really fun, and so still trying to get into my acting bag with that stuff. So they really
Yeah.
do help out with that. But I see myself more doing like runways, photo shoot commercials and stuff like that. But I'm always trying to get into my acting bag a little bit, slowly but surely. But they're a very, very great agency.
one step at a time, honestly. It's a
Yeah.
process always, and as long as you're continuing to make strides and at least put yourself out there, that's really all that matters. So, we're gonna move on to the question that everybody wants to know. How do you incorporate style and creativity, especially with you being a model? How do you incorporate those things into your everyday life?
I kind of incorporate those things with my everyday life because sometimes when it comes to like with styling and everything, it's not just about like, oh, these are just nice clothes and stuff. Like to me, when it comes to styling, it's almost like you're creating a story or like,
Mm-hmm.
you're creating this book that when
Yep.
some stranger that sees you or something, they obviously they see what cover they're getting. So, for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's more so like just trying to go out, be creative with my style. And because one thing about me, I think it's a Leo thing, I love me a good little compliment. So I just love I just
Because
love me a good little
listen, for
compliment.
those of you
Right,
that don't
right.
know, for those of you that don't know, give your Leo a compliment yesterday.
And we will get Airhead is up. Like it could
Big.
be the smallest thing, but so like I just like with me when it comes to styling, it creates like this movie that you give, and so I like to bring out. I feel like my personality expresses more depending on like whatever kind of clothes I'm wearing. So that's
Yeah.
why I really think it's really big and or really big in my part of life. So
Yeah. And an outfit should tell a story. Like, for instance, random for the audience, my shirt is telling the story of this life. So that and that's
like
all y'all need to know. You know what I mean? So recently, or for those of you that may not know, it was pretty recent. And for those of you that do know, we're about to rehash a little bit of something. Joel recently did a photo shoot where he embodied the king of androgyny, Prince. First of all, I just want to say you embodied that so well. I need you to pull
Please
more
stop
androgynous
it.
looks. I also need you to tap into that style of photo shoots because chef's kiss. So tell me when you had to embody that androgynous aura, because I know typically the stereotype, for those of you that don't know what androgyny is, it's the blend of the masculine and the feminine. Androgyny has no gender. So any outfit, any look, anything, it can look good on either a woman or a man. Our ladies and gentle them. It doesn't matter how you identify, the look is gonna look good on you. Um, and so Joelle, typically, and for the audience as well, when you hear about androgynous fashion, you typically think about A-line skirts with t-shirts or the typical pinstripe suit, and that's really it. That's really it. So without having the stereotypical elements of a feminine outfit, how did you tap into that androgynous mindset in the photo shoot and during the photo shoot? What was that like for you to have to tap into that?
Different. So with that photo shoot, it wasn't even my idea or anything. I had one to shout out to Trey Visions, very great photographer here in Columbia, South Carolina. So if you ever need somebody for some pictures, hit him up. But he ended up hitting me up. And so he had this vision, this mood board, and so um I felt like when we were doing the shoot, I was a little bit nervous at first because I was all like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to give that energy that they're looking for. But once I got that guitar in my hand, oof, it was just like I was just like, oh,
I'm a
okay, we're
rock
good now. Like,
star.
like vision came up. It just felt like I said, it's always just about like I feel like I'm creating a story, and so um, it was really, really fun. They kind of, I would say, when it comes down to some photo shoots, it's really great for when the photographer or if they have any staff that's with them, kind of helps you get that comfortableness out of you. And
Yeah.
so, as long I feel like if you have like a good staff and team, they'll kind of help out bring that make sure that vision comes to life. So
Amazing. Well, Trey Visions, I don't know if you're watching, but if you do, you did a phenomenal job on that photo shoot. And, whenever I'm back in the Carolinas, because I live in DC now, but whenever I'm back in the Carolinas, I expect to see something new. Uh, please do. So, speaking of androgyny and Puerto Ricans, because there's two of us here for those of you that didn't know. I feel like it wouldn't be right if I didn't shed the spotlight on the motherland known as Borinquen. So, this is a fun fact for everybody, including you, Joel. We're going to go into the history of androgyny in Puerto Rico real quick. Okay.
yes, let's
Did
get
you
into it.
know? Okay. Because we're about to get into it. Did you know that the first recorded androgynous woman was actually from Puerto Rico? Her name was Luisa Capetillo. And before there was Rosie the Riveter, because, girl, you wore the pants. No disrespect to her, but it's Luisa's turn. You feel me? Before Rosie the Riveter's time, Luisa Capetillo was a major women's suffrage and women's rights activist, literally from Puerto Rico. She was arrested in San Juan because she was protesting during World War II, women having to wear skirts and women's clothing in factory jobs. She wore a pinstripe suit with you know what I'm talking about, with the Hibaro hat and everything in the middle of the town square and got arrested and tried because she was wearing a suit. She later on then went to travel to Cuba and the United States, where she was responsible for one of the origins of the women's suffrage movement. And her name got erased. Very typical, no shade, but America, the
Child,
silence is loud.
right.
Um, but yeah, so she was arrested and tried. She has a book called Mi Opinión where she goes into the gender stereotypes and how they're actually harmful as a society for us to seek out freedom and from the oppressors. And she said that there really is no difference between a man and a woman. The only difference is how much we want to work and how much we want to fight for what we want to fight for ultimately. So my question for you is, after finding out as a king of androgyny yourself, and as someone who is also androgynous myself, don't let the hoops fool you, everybody. Okay? You will catch me in a suit and a blazer.
Okay.
Um, okay? But after knowing that androgyny really did start out on the motherland, Borinquen, as a fellow Puerto Rican, how does that make you feel? Tell me your thoughts, opinions, all of it.
Actually really, really crazy. And I've actually never knew about that before. So, first off, thank you for that little fun fact. I love it. I love it. I would say that it's great hearing that, especially like now, after I would probably say like, with Bad Bunny doing the whole Super Bowl and everything, he's most definitely getting Puerto Rico on the map. I would say that Puerto Rico is a very just like, oh goodness, I was just there recently, and so I did not want to come back at all. I swear. Like one thing I love is at night the coquis. You already know about the
Mhm.
coquis.
Yeah.
But yes, no. So I would say like that. That's really, really wow.
Right? And a lot of people, I didn't know that either before this live. So for everybody, I did my research. But but she's usually left out of the conversation when it comes to androgynous history, and especially androgyny within the United States. She's left out of the conversation. So even when I was researching different topics and people to bring up, typically people bring up David Bowie, Grace Jones, Michael Jackson, the greats, the greats. But sometimes we forget about the pioneers that started it, the people that walked and literally got arrested so
And
that these people
yes,
can run.
Hello, hello.
Seriously. And so, with that being said, I feel like because of those pioneers and the people that started these movements and were starters of these movements, I feel like society has lost a grip of what it means to be androgyny. And so, I'm going to ask you, especially as someone who lives in that state of being literally every day, combining the masculine and the feminine energy to create the person that is Joel. Um, how do you think that modern society and modern societal views have affected what what it means to be androgynous and what that looks like for the average everyday person?
Yeah, I would say, I think with the modern day society, what kind of messes up with that is because I would say now there's a lot more people that's been a little bit more creative with their styles, especially when it comes to the men's side. And so once I would say like someone necessarily sees that kind of androgynous style on a man, is always just like it makes them feel certain societies feel some type of way.
Yeah,
Which it makes no sense because it's just like at the end of the day, clothes are clothes. It doesn't basically make a person who they are or anything. So, I would say, I guess it's just that when it comes down to society, they like to, I'm trying to say, not necessarily like, basically almost like saying like labeling something. They like to have clarification on something. And it's just sometimes you don't have to always have clarifications to everything. It's just like I said, clothes are just clothes. Like objects are just objects. It's nothing that's gonna hurt anybody. So
right. And with that being said, I feel like a lot of people, we are in an era where anyone can be anybody they want to be, right? But it seems like almost we went a little bit back in time while trying to strive for the future. So for those that are watching, whether it be, someone who is young, who's discovering that identity and that specific part of themselves, or whether it be somebody who's watching this who just wants to educate themselves on what it means to be androgynous. What advice and what approach do you have for someone who's trying to find that identity versus somebody who may not understand what that means? What advice would you give that person on how to approach those who push the who push the binary needle in a sense?
yeah, I will most definitely say just having confidence, honestly. In this world, you most definitely, especially when it comes down, like with my modeling industry, like if you don't have that confidence, you're gonna kind of lose that light on yourself. And I remember like when I first started, it was most definitely like a hard, like I would say it was very hard trying to get into the modeling industry at first, but then you get so many different people who stand by you and like love you, love the work that you do. So just having confidence, good support, and just not making. Can I cuss out here?
Okay, let me make a disclaimer really quickly. For those of you that have children under the age of 18 years old, we are not responsible for what they hear, absorb, or consume. Parental supervision, is strongly encouraged. The floor is yours.
I would say just don't care what people think or say about you and never lose that confidence about yourself to keep it clean.
Yes, to keep it PG, because we don't know if there's any 13s in here.
Hello.
Okay?
Look, that's why I was like, let me go ahead and ask first.
Right. Well, everybody, I know I can't see the comments, but everybody say thank you to Joelle. First of all, I just want to say thank you. This is the second episode. Everybody, the episodes are going to be at 8 o'clock now because for some reason, 7 hasn't been working out. So 8 o'clock it is. Thank you guys for so much for tuning in to this week's episode
Thank
of Beyond Clothes. This is Joelle. Um, Obviously, if you missed it, you'll catch some reels tomorrow. For those of you that may tune in very late, it is okay. Joelle, I hope to see you very soon for another episode. I really appreciate you for
Most
being a part of
definitely.
this. This is gonna be something ongoing. I appreciate your thoughts and opinions on androgyny. And for everyone who missed it, I wrote a blog post this week on Monday on Substack. Dandan says that Substack. If you want to read more on androgynous fashion and where society should head moving forward and where we've been, check that out. Otherwise, that's all I have tonight. Joelle, any final words, thoughts, comments, concerns?
I would like to say just thank you again so much for this opportunity to be here. This is like mind blowing. I really, really love this. I feel like that this is something that's going to be really, really big. So, yeah, like I'm really excited. And hopefully, I get to be on some more episodes because I
You
would
will.
love to be on another episode, most
Yeah,
definitely.
you will. Well, everybody, I know that this week was a shorter episode, but that is okay. There will be more to come. Stay tuned for next week's episode of Beyond Clothes. Again, this was Joel. Make sure you guys give him a follow on Chiquito Joelito on Instagram. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.